Hi guys, welcome back to my shop. We're looking at a pair of big Vee blocks I purchased. I wanted to get them mounted for the boring mill table, which is where they're sitting at. It's the biggest flat surface I have. I don't have a surface plate yet. And well, here's my parallels I made too. And this all kind of goes together. Anyway, these Vee blocks are supposed to be ground on the top, and they look good. They seem good, but I hope you can hear this. If I rock, I can get them to rock back and forth on the bottom. If I flip them and the sides, well, you see there's a high spot there. But if I flip them to the top, to the ground side, I can't get any movement out of them. And what I wanted to do with these, this is where these come in. I wanted to set these up on here, so then I can run some clamping bolts down through, there's some big holes in there, down through there, and clamp them down. And then I want to cut a keyway across here, and then one also this way. And I thought that'd be a good job for the boring mill. That's why I made the parallels. Well, now I find out I don't like the way these things are set up. I'm not real happy with them. So I guess we're going to take them up to the shaper and we'll set them up on the top surface. And I'm going to remachine this surface here. Just take a light cut off of it, I guess, and I'll do that to both of them. I think I can set one up, take a light cut off, set the other one up, take a light cut off it, and everything should be the same. And then I'll be able to set them up, hopefully. I want to set them up and then take a cut on these sides. I think that'll work. Because, well, there's a high spot there. So, we're going to head up to the shaper next. Alright, so let's take a quick look at my shaper. This is a Rockford hydraulic 24-inch shaper. There's two knobs up here which are connected to the ram. This is how you change the stroke. You just loosen this up, move it over, tighten it down, and that would be your stroke. When you shorten your stroke, you loosen it up, move it back, and that would be your stroke. And this is a quick release dump valve. That's all it does. You have speed control there, which has a locking nut on it, so you can put it where you want it, then you lock it. And then it has high-low divisions for feed rate, or not feed rate, stroke rate. And then this lever, that's off. That'd be low speeds. That's high speeds. And down here we've got the button here for rapid traverse. This is the on button, the off button, and this valve down here either makes your step over, I guess, crisper or softer. And this knob here changes the feed rate from, you know, more to less. You just gotta crank it around to get your desired feed. Hydraulic shapers, you can pick up any feed rate that you can. I mean, it's infinite because it's hydraulic. And then this lever is to change the directions of the table going up or down. And this lever is for back and forth on rapid, and they both work on rapid traverse. Alright, so here's some of my tooling I have for my shaper. I have this big adjustable one, which takes a 1/2 by 3/4 tool bit. And these are tungsten carbide lathe tool bit holders, but they hold the bit straight, so they work good in the shaper. So I've got left, right, and center in 7/16, left, right, and center in 3/8. I do have one boring bar holder, and these other ones I've made, these other 3 here I've made. That's for doing internal keyways. So I started out with a shaft that big and turned it down, put threads on there, and cut a keyway in there. And you take this out of the clapper and mount that in there, and that's what holds those in there. Alright, so I had some guys interested in looking at this spring here on the clapper box. As far as I know, this is original, because I didn't put it on there, but it just lets it move a little bit, but I don't think it's really set up quite right. So we're going to do a little discussion on it here. I'm going to take it apart, which isn't too bad, and I'll kind of show you what I think's going on. So it's just a 1/2 inch bolt and a spring, and then this washer. I'll try to give you some good views of this. I think anybody could add this onto their shaper if they wanted to. So this one side has got a cutout here, so that cutout sits on that edge right there of the clapper box. And so if you want it tight, you turn it over like to that position, and if you don't, there's another part here. You can see where this one, how it's all machined off, and this one you can kind of see there how that's machined. You know, you can come up with a lot of different combinations for this, but I kind of give you some views of it. Now, what I don't think is quite right on this thing, number one, I don't know if you can see the lines in there. See, there's 3 lines on that bolt, so that means it's a grade 5 bolt. Well, most of the time when these machines were made, they never used any grade bolts. They were all just, I don't know what they were, but they never had any marks on them. And it's just a bolt that screws into this threaded hole here. Now I'll show you what, well, and then, you know, they've got a pretty beefy spring that goes over it. Well, this is what I think is going on, that this bolt has been replaced, because I think this should be a stud in here that you could screw in and tighten up into the block. And I'll show you why I think that. We'll get it set up like we're going to try to use it as a clapper, or a spring clapper, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. Well, there it's kind of tight, but see how loose the bolt is? So that's still giving you, see how it moves? So if this bolt was a stud that was screwed into here tight, you would take all that extra play out, and I think it would work better. Now you can just keep tightening it up, you know, and eventually it takes it away, but it all depends on how much pressure you want. And this is just me thinking this way. I don't know if that's right or not. Like when I do internal keyways with this machine, I do tighten this all the way up. I've seen another setup, spring setup like this recently on YouTube also, but I think this is a little bit more advanced setup. I mean, there's some more views of it. I suppose that's about a 3-inch bolt, but well, it all matters to what size your shaper is, what size your spring is, and what you come up with for an idea. So, and without it, well, it can really do some talking. And with it, you know, it'll just come up a little bit and let it drag back and skim over the top instead of clapping. Alright, so now I'm going to get set up and we'll do some cutting on this V-way block. Alright, so I changed my plan. I was going to do these in the shaper vise, and I did one of them. Actually, I did this front one in the shaper vise. It turned out good, fine. But then I was worried about how am I going to get the other one to the exact same height as the first one. So, and I said, well, let's take the vise off, mount everything to the table, and do both of them at one time. So that's what we're doing here. And right now it's about 45 strokes a minute, 5,000 step orders. I'm probably taking too long to do this. It is leaving a really nice finish. I mean, it's pretty smooth. setting these blocks up this way, I'm going to be making one long keyway all the way down through them, just like it's going now. But right down the middle, I'm putting a keyway for T-slot through. You know what I mean? To hold it in line with the bed. And then when that's done, I'm going to turn them sideways on here and do them the short way too, because I want to be able to put it on, you know, either position on the table of my horizontal boring mill. Back when we're just about done, and maybe we'll look at the finished thing. Well, it looks like the shaper got to the end before I got back over here. So I guess we're just going to clean the chips off of there, and we'll take a look at how it looks. I'll get the shot back, clean them chips up. There, you're seeing the surface right with me. I mean, it's the first time I looked at it, but I think it all turned out pretty good. A little dust on her yet, but alright, so now our next setup is to we're going to cut a I'm not sure what size of keyway I'm going to put in here yet, maybe 1/2 inch. We're going to cut a keyway all the way down the whole length of these two. And then I'm thinking when I'm done with that, I'll turn them sideways and have them sitting this way, and then cut a keyway across those two. So next up is grinding the cutter and getting set up to cut a keyway. Alright. So we're getting ready to start cutting our keyway. Thought I'd show you my setup. There it is. And let's see. Let's go around here and I'll show you the spring. The spring setup on a clapper box. Well, I don't have it all the way tight, so it will. I'm going to get this view here, maybe. It does have a little movement in there. So I'll get the machine fired up and we'll start this thing up. I did make a little test cut. You'll be able to see, I think you can see the little ribbon right down through there, and it looked like everything was working good. So I'll get the machine fired up, and I think I'm going to go down about, it's a 7/16 cutter. Well, anyway, it's 733. It didn't grind too much out the side, so we'll go down probably 1/4 of an inch. Really nice and really nice curls. Nice chips, I think. Down feed when you're clear off the part. Down feed. I don't have an automatic feel, so I have to do that by hand. So I'm sure every time I do it, it's not the exact same depth. Coming up to about 125 thousandths depth. I'm going to go to about 125 here, and then we'll come back. Okay, that's about 115. See what I'm getting for stroke. That's about 2,000. 2, 3. Yeah, 2, 3. Maybe get a different view. Might even speed it up in here. It's just making some cleanup passes by itself right now. Okay, so I got you a little different angle. I went up from 25 strokes a minute to 35 strokes a minute, and we're going to go down, so we're approximately about 250 thou down. Doesn't seem to be changing anything. One I can see, it might be making finer chips. Maybe it depends on how deep I get it too. back and forth by itself just a little bit. So that cleaned up pretty quick. Now it's taking a little more, there I got it off. Let's take a depth cut here a little bit and see what we got. It doesn't really matter, just for this one I'm not trying to hit a target too much. We're 268, so that's alright for now. Alright, what I'll have to do now is I think I'm going to make it to 1/2 of an inch, so I'm going to have to move over this way and cut a little off, and then move over that way and cut a little bit off again, and then we should have our 1/2 inch target zone. Alright, so we're getting set up here with our blocks to cut the keyway the opposite direction. I thought I'd kind of show you what I came up with to hold everything down. This way I could do both blocks at one time. And something else I came up with. You know, I spent a lot of time getting this cutter square underneath here with the table. I actually had an indicator underneath of it, and I would run it back and forth until I got it square, and it worked good. And I didn't want to move that. So most of the time, you know, you take your magnetic thing and clamp on there. Well, sometimes it don't hold the greatest. So I took out the spring that holds the clapper box in there. And I happen to have another, I guess you call it an arbor or whatever, stem. And it actually screwed right into there. I think I was working on a big block Chevy and I made this to hold an indicator one time. So now I got a real nice way to mount indicators on there instead of just using the magnetic device. So that's something else if anybody decides to make a spring setup like this to hold the clapper box. Well, you can take it out, put that mount in there, and you've got a nice good indicator mount. Alright, we're ready to go on our keyways, and we're going to see how long it takes us. I think it's going to go real smooth this time, just like last time. We're running at 45 strokes a minute. switch doesn't like to shut off. There. Okay, so we're all done there. Let's suck up the chips. Oh, I'm not plugged in. Didn't get it plugged in. There's our slots anyway. Now this is what I make to put in the keys. I just take some round stock, and I hope you can see that. I make the small end to fit inside the groove. This is made for one of my other vices. I made this out of a material that I could harden, and then I hardened it, and then I put a cap screw in it so it goes in there, and that reset there goes right into the T slot like that. And then I'll drill and tap 4 holes, and then this project will be done. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and comment if you like this.